Welcome to the deep dive. So picture this. South Africa is at, well, a really pivotal moment. They're launching this national dialogue, huge task ahead, right? Tackling poverty, inequality, unemployment. But the big question, the real hurdle, is how do you make sure it's not just another talk shop? How does it actually lead to, real solutions on the ground?
And what if a key part of that answer involves artificial intelligence? In this deep dive, that's exactly what we're exploring, how AI could potentially elevate this whole national conversation. We'll look at South Africa's readiness, maybe some global examples, and specifically how their Center for Artificial Intelligence and Sustainable Development, CAISD, might fit in. So you're going to hear how AI could help make a national dialogue genuinely inclusive and, well, effective.
Okay, so the goal is solutions that actually work for everyone. That makes sense. But think about the sheer amount of input they'll get. Public hearings, social media comments, surveys. It's overwhelming. How does AI realistically help sort through all that chaos and make sure every perspective is actually considered?
Well, that's where AI offers a really powerful pathway. I mean, think about the sheer volume, like you said, transcripts, social media feeds, survey results, trying to process that manually. It's incredibly inefficient. And you risk just hearing the loudest voices, right? This is where advanced NLP, natural language processing, really shines. It's not just counting words. It actually understands context, sentiment, even links ideas across different languages potentially. Imagine it finding a connection between, say, informal job growth and specific infrastructure needs in rural areas.
Right.
That's an insight human analysis might just completely overlook. It helps the agenda truly reflect the nation's complexity.
Right. That's a really important point. It's not just what people are saying, but maybe the nuances, the feelings behind it. And how do you ensure genuine inclusivity? South Africa is incredibly diverse.
Exactly. Inclusivity is key. AI can help there too. By analyzing the demographics and geography of where contributions come from, it can flag underrepresentation, like maybe rural women or certain indigenous groups aren't being heard enough. Then you can do targeted outreach. And sentiment analysis, it's deeper than just happy or sad. It can pick up on specific anxieties, maybe around land reform or excitement about certain economic ideas. So policymakers can craft solutions that aren't just data-driven, but also, emotionally resonant and culturally aware.
Okay, that sounds potentially transformative, moving from maybe endless debates to decisions actually backed by data. But isn't there a risk? Could it make things too cold, too clinical? Do you lose the human touch?
That's a fair question. And it brings us to AI's predictive power, but also the absolute need for the human in the loop. AI models can simulate really complex scenarios. Think about predicting the impact of a policy change. You could integrate hundreds of variables, global prices, local infrastructure, you name it. So maybe it predicts not just if a minimum wage change affects jobs, but how many jobs might shift and where. In specific provinces, maybe moving formal to informal. This lets policymakers see potential unintended consequences beforehand. AI offers evidence-based options, shows potential outcomes, but the final decision, that has to stay human, grounded in values.
Okay, makes sense. So you have the analysis, the predictions, but how do you make sure it leads to action? How do we ensure accountability so these insights don't just, gather dust on a shelf?
Right, linking deliberation to implementation. AI can help forge that connection. Imagine an AI recommendation engine, maybe trained by, say, CAISD on global best practices and real-time South African data. It wouldn't just suggest broad ideas. It could propose really specific multi-part interventions, like maybe pairing green energy training with targeted tax breaks for green businesses in certain areas. And then, once policies are launched, AI dashboards could track their impact using service delivery data, citizen feedback. It flags what's working and what's not, creating kind of real-time, transparent accountability loop.
This all sounds incredibly promising, but let's get down to the nuts and bolts. Is South Africa actually ready for this? Do they have the policies, the infrastructure, the public trust even?
Well, South Africa has actually laid some important groundwork. There's a national AI policy framework focused on human-centered AI, and POPIA, the Data Privacy Act, provides a solid legal basis. But you're right, the real challenges are implementation and, crucially, public trust, especially given past concerns about data handling. The digital divide is also a big one, not just access, but digital literacy across the whole country. That's where an organization like CAISD becomes vital, not just building the AI models, but models that understand local languages and contexts, and importantly, training policymakers to actually use these tools effectively, bridging that skills gap.
So if we zoom out a bit, what's the big picture here? What's the fundamental change AI could bring to this national dialogue?
Fundamentally, it offers a powerful toolkit for, well, reimagining governance in South Africa, from making sense of massive amounts of public input and ensuring real inclusivity, to predicting policy impacts and boosting accountability. Yes, there are challenges, the digital divide, expertise gaps, those are real. But the policy foundations and digital transformation efforts are definitely building momentum.
And that central idea, AI supports human judgment. It doesn't replace it. That seems absolutely critical. It's really about enabling a more dynamic and transparent relationship between the government and the people it serves, isn't it?
Exactly. AI provides the analysis, the sharp insights, maybe flags things we'd miss. But the tough calls, the value judgments, the actual soul of governing that must always rest with people and their representatives.
So maybe the question isn't if AI can transform South Africa's dialogue. Perhaps it's more about whether leaders have the boldness to really lean in and use these tools fully. Thinking about all this, what stands out to you listening in as the single biggest potential benefit or maybe the biggest hurdle for AI in shaping a nation's future?